you ever been in a relationship where no matter how much you gave, how hard you tried, or how deeply you cared, it always felt like you were losing something? Your energy, your sense of self, your peace? What if I told you that at the very moment you begin to understand who is really in control, you'll realize you've been living in a world of illusion? Imagine for a second, what if everything you've been told, everything you've been led to believe wasn't the truth? What if the power you thought someone else held over you was nothing but a carefully constructed lie? That, my friend, is the exact moment a narcissist loses control over you. But how do you get to that moment? How do you break free from someone who has shaped the reality around you, manipulating every move, every word, every emotion? Let's explore this together. The path to reclaiming your autonomy, to taking back what was always yours, is not only possible, it's waiting for you to discover it. Today we're going to uncover the profound truth behind the narcissist's control, how to recognize it, and most importantly, how to step into your own power once and for all. Have you ever noticed how some people have a way of making you feel like you're always at fault, even when you're trying your best? Like no matter what you do, it's never quite enough, and somehow you're the one left apologizing, questioning, overthinking? That's not coincidence. That's control, subtle, strategic, and often invisible until it's too late. And for a narcissist, that control is everything. Narcissists don't operate like ordinary people. They don't seek connection for the sake of love, mutual respect, or growth. They seek control, power, validation. Not the kind that's earned through merit or character, but the kind extracted from the people around them. To a narcissist, others exist as tools. Tools for self-affirmation, tools for admiration, tools for domination. They don't see relationships as partnerships, they see them as stages, and they are always the star of the show. Control is the lifeblood of a narcissist world. And the most terrifying part is that it often begins so quietly, so gently. At first they may seem charming, attentive, charismatic even. They can make you feel special, chosen, understood like no one else ever has. It feels like you finally found someone who truly sees you, but what you're actually experiencing is love bombing and narcissist hook. They build you up so they can break you down later. They mirror your hopes, your dreams, your fears, and then when they've gained your trust, they slowly start to reshape your reality. You'll begin to notice small shifts. You're explaining yourself more, apologizing more, doubting your instincts. They'll say things that confuse you, and when you seek clarity, you'll be told you're overreacting, that you're too sensitive or imagining things. This is gaslighting, the psychological warfare that slowly dismantles your confidence and distorts your sense of truth. It's designed to disorient you, to destabilize you, so that the narcissist can remain the one steady, unquestioned presence in your life. Over time, your sense of self starts to erode. You become cautious, careful, always trying to avoid setting them off. You weigh every word. You begin to internalize their criticism. Maybe I am too emotional. Maybe I am difficult. Maybe they're right. The narcissist feeds on this self-doubt. They thrive when you feel small, because the smaller you feel, the more control they have. It becomes a vicious loop. They break you down and then make you believe only they can fix you. But the control doesn't stop at emotions. It extends into every area of life. They may isolate you from friends or family under the guise of protection or love. They may subtly sabotage your goals or ambitions, questioning your capabilities or making you feel guilty for focusing on yourself. They insert themselves into every decision, not to help, but to dominate. It's not enough for them to influence you. They want to become your entire world. And here's what makes it so difficult. This control rarely comes with obvious change. It's not screaming, not constant cruelty. Often it's the opposite. It's wrapped in sweet words, passive aggression, mixed signals, and silent treatments. It's not easy to recognize because narcissists know how to manipulate emotions with surgical precision. They study you, they learn your patterns, your insecurities, your wounds, and they weaponize them. What makes this dynamic so powerful is that it's not based on physical force, but psychological submission. They get you to give up your voice, your boundaries, your identity voluntarily, not all at once, but piece by piece. It's a slow-burning erosion, and by the time you realize what's happened, it can feel like you've lost yourself completely. And still, despite all of this, they'll make you believe that the problem is you, that you're ungrateful, that you're lucky to have someone who tolerates your flaws. They frame themselves as the victim, the martyr, the misunderstood hero. This is the final layer of control, rewriting the narrative so you defend them even to yourself. That's how a narcissist maintains power. Not through love, not through logic, but through the systematic dismantling of another person's sense of reality. Control isn't just a tool for them. It's their survival mechanism. It's the way they maintain superiority in a world where they feel deeply inadequate. It's a facade built on manipulation. And the more they can make you question your worth, the longer they get to wear the mask. One of the most powerful tactics a narcissist uses isn't brute force or overt domination. It's illusion. The illusion of control. The illusion that they are the center of your world, the authority on your reality, and the one with the final say in who you are. And the scariest part, you often don't even realize it's happening until you're already deep inside their constructed world, doubting your own voice and relying on theirs to make sense of things. The illusion begins with perception. Narcissists are masters at crafting perceptions, not just about who they are, but about who you are. They'll carefully, methodically reshape how you see yourself, not through direct insults or blatant attacks, at least not in the beginning. It starts with subtle insinuations, backhanded compliments, small digs wrapped in humor, comments that seem harmless but land in your gut like a punch. They plant seeds of doubt, and over time, those seeds grow into insecurity. You start wondering if you're being too sensitive, too needy, too much. They manipulate not just what you feel, but what you believe to be true. They'll twist situations, rewrite conversations, and deny things they've said, even if you heard them clearly. They'll insist you misunderstood, that you're remembering wrong, that you always take things the wrong way. This is gaslighting in its most dangerous form. It creates a disconnect between your perception and their version of events. And when that gap gets wide enough, you start to mistrust yourself and trust them instead. That's where the illusion of control truly begins. Because once you stop trusting your own instincts, your own memory, your own judgment, you hand over control without even realizing it. You start deferring to their perspective. You ask for their opinion before making decisions. You seek their validation before trusting your own feelings. You hesitate to speak up, afraid that your version of the truth is flawed. They become the filter through which you interpret your life. And all the while, they're reinforcing that they're the only one who really understands you, that they're the only one who can truly love you, tolerate you, support you. This is not affection, it's control. It's a psychological bind designed to make you emotionally dependent on them. They'll criticize you, tear you down, then turn around and act like your savior. They want you to believe that your sense of peace, stability, and happiness starts and ends with them. That without them, you'd be lost. But here's the truth they never want you to see. Their control is not real. It's a smokescreen, a carefully designed performance. Narcissists have no true power. They only have the power you believe they have. They aren't strong. They're scared, terrified of being exposed, terrified of irrelevance, terrified of losing the grip they worked so hard to create. The moment you begin to pull back, to question, to say no, that illusion begins to crack. And they know it. That's why they react so violently. emotionally or otherwise, when their illusion is threatened. They'll lash out, guilt trip, cry, rage, or go completely silent. They'll try everything to pull you back into the illusion, because once you stop believing in it, it starts to fall apart. You were never truly under their control. They just convinced you that you were. They built a cage out of your doubts, your guilt, your fear, and then handed you the key without telling you it was in your pocket the whole time. They want you to believe that they are indispensable, that life without them would be unbearable, but the reality is the life they've constructed around you is the unbearable part. They control through confusion, chaos, and codependency, not through truth, not through love, not through actual power. The illusion of control is a trick of the mind, and narcissists are illusionists of the highest order. But illusions only last as long as the audience believes in them. When you begin to see behind the curtain, to recognize the patterns, the manipulation, the insecurity masked as dominance, you start to regain clarity. And with clarity comes freedom, not because they gave it to you, but because it was never really gone. You just forgot you had it. There comes a moment in every interaction with a narcissist when something shifts. It's not a grand, dramatic event. It's more subtle than that. It often feels like a quiet realization, an inner awakening that happens when you least expect it. This is the moment when you finally recognize that everything you've been led to believe, everything the narcissist has planted in your mind, wasn't the truth at all. The fog begins to lift, and for the first time in a long while, you start to see things clearly. At first, it's uncomfortable. It's like waking up from a long, deep sleep, where you suddenly realize how much time has passed and how much you've lost. But this moment of awakening is also incredibly powerful. It's the moment when you recognize that the narcissist's control over you has been an illusion all along. It's the first crack in the narcissist's armor, and for the first time you see the world as it truly is, not through their distorted lens. The realization can be terrifying because it challenges everything you've been conditioned to believe. It forces you to confront the reality of how much power you've given away and how much of yourself you've sacrificed. This moment of clarity doesn't always come in one big burst of understanding. It may start as a nagging feeling that something is off. Maybe you hear a particular phrase from the narcissist, and for the first time, it doesn't sit right with you. Maybe it's an offhand comment they make that suddenly makes you question everything you thought you knew about them. Or it could be a situation where, for the first time, you feel a sense of peace despite their attempts to provoke you. You stop reacting to their manipulation the way you used to. You start to see their behavior for what it is, self-serving, controlling, and toxic. It's a gradual process of peeling back layers of denial, doubt, and confusion. For so long, you've been trapped in a cycle of self-doubt, always second-guessing yourself because the narcissist planted the seeds of uncertainty in your mind. But as the fog begins to clear, you start to trust yourself again. You begin to notice how they've been twisting your perception of reality, how they have gaslighted you into questioning your very thoughts and feelings. You realize that you've been walking on eggshells trying to please them, trying to make them happy, trying to gain their approval, only to find that nothing was ever enough. No matter how much you gave, it was never reciprocated. No matter how much you sacrificed, you were always left feeling empty. This realization is often the first step toward regaining control over your life. For the first time, you understand that your thoughts and feelings matter. You are no longer just a puppet to their strings. You begin to recognize that you've been allowing them to control the narrative, allowing them to dictate your emotions, your choices, and your identity. But now you're starting to see through the lies, through the manipulation, and you realize that you have the power to change the story. The narcissist no longer holds the pen. You do. In this moment, you start to feel a shift inside of you. It's as if you've woken up from a long, hazy dream, and you see yourself for who you truly are. You see your worth. You see your strength. You realize that you have been operating from a place of fear, trying to protect yourself from their wrath, but in doing so, you've abandoned yourself. And now you're ready to stop doing that. The moment of awakening is like a spark that ignites a fire inside you, a fire that tells you that you deserve more. You deserve respect, you deserve love, and you deserve the freedom to be yourself without fear of retribution. But the narcissist will fight this awakening with everything they have. The moment they sense that you are starting to see through their manipulation, they will try to pull you back in. They will gaslight you, twist your words, and make you feel guilty for questioning them. They may even pretend to be the victim, trying to make you feel responsible for their behavior. But by this point, you've already begun to detach. You've started to reclaim your sense of self, and although it's not easy, you're no longer as susceptible to their tactics. The clarity you gain in that moment becomes your shield. You start to trust yourself more than you trust their words. You begin to understand that you are not the problem they are. It's not a clean break. It's not an instant transformation. But the moment you wake up to the reality of the narcissist's control is the moment you take back your power. You begin to see that you are no longer bound by their narrative. You realize that you are not defined by their opinions of you. And most importantly, you start to understand that the only person who can truly control your life is you. This is your moment of liberation. The narcissist's grip on your life begins to loosen. And although the road ahead may still be difficult, you now walk it with a renewed sense of strength, clarity, and self-respect. The road to freedom from a narcissist is not just about breaking away physically. It is about finding the inner strength to reclaim your life, your sense of self, and your peace. It requires something deep within you to rise up and challenge the control they've exerted over your mind, your emotions, and your action. This strength isn't born from grand gestures or dramatic acts of defiance. It's forged in the quiet moments when you choose yourself over their manipulations, when you choose clarity over confusion, and when you decide that your voice matters more than their demands. This inner strength is often born from necessity. Narcissists are experts in destabilizing their victims. They wear you down bit by bit until you're not sure where you end and they begin. They make you question everything about yourself, your choices, and your worth. In the midst of this constant emotional turmoil, it can feel like there's no place for your own thoughts or feelings anymore. You begin to feel lost in their world, unsure of how to navigate the chaos they've created. It's during these moments of deep confusion that your inner strength begins to stir, even if you don't recognize it at first. One of the most difficult things about finding this strength is recognizing that it's already there, buried beneath layers of self-doubt, guilt, and fear. The narcissist has spent so much time convincing you that you're nothing without them that it can be hard to see your own worth. But the truth is, you have always had the strength inside you to break free. You just need to reconnect with it. It's the part of you that can say no when you've been taught to say yes. It's the part of you that recognizes when enough is enough, even if you've been conditioned to tolerate their behavior. It's the part of you that knows deep down that you deserve better, even when the narcissist tries to make you feel small. The first step toward accessing this inner strength is to quiet the noise. Narcissists thrive on creating chaos. They want to keep you in a constant state of emotional upheaval so that you're too distracted to think clearly, too consumed by their demands to focus on your own needs. The more you give in to their emotional manipulation, the more they take. And the more they take, the less you have left of yourself. To find your inner strength, you must first carve out space for yourself in the midst of the storm. This means taking time to listen to your own thoughts, to feel your own feelings, and to recognize that your needs are just as valid as theirs. You must allow yourself to feel anger, sadness, frustration, or whatever emotions arise without judgment. This is your body's way of telling you that something is wrong, that something needs to change. Allowing yourself to feel is the first step toward reclaiming your power. As you begin to reconnect with yourself, you'll start to recognize the patterns of manipulation that the narcissist has used to control you. You'll begin to understand that their behavior was never about love, respect, or mutual care. It was always about dominance, validation, and power. The realization that you've been manipulated can be painful, but it's also liberating. You no longer have to make excuses for their behavior. You no longer have to apologize for wanting to be treated with respect. This awareness is crucial because it allows you to stop internalizing their toxic messages. You can stop believing that you are the problem, that you are the one who needs fixing. The truth is, the narcissist was never interested in fixing anything about you. They were only interested in maintaining control. Finding the strength to break free also requires letting go of the fear of what will happen when you stand up for yourself. Narcissists thrive on creating fear in their victims. They threaten, intimidate, and emotionally manipulate you into believing that you cannot survive without them. They use guilt, shame, and sometimes even threats to keep you in their orbit. The fear of their reactions, of the consequences you might face, can be overwhelming. But this fear is another tool they use to maintain control. It's not real. It's a fabrication designed to keep you in line. The truth is, once you stop fearing their wrath and start fearing the consequences of staying in the toxic dynamic, you'll find a new source of courage. You'll realize that living in fear is far more damaging than whatever consequences the narcissist may try to impose. The final step in unlocking your inner strength is acceptance. You must accept that breaking free from a narcissist is not just about leaving physically, it's about reclaiming your life emotionally and psychologically. The narcissist's grip on you is more than just external, it's internal. Their manipulation has shaped your beliefs about yourself, your worth, and your ability to thrive. Rebuilding yourself means rewiring those beliefs. It means accepting that you are worthy of love, respect, and peace. Not because the narcissist says so, but because you are inherently valuable. It means accepting that your needs, desires, and boundaries matter. And most importantly, it means accepting that you have the power to shape your own life independent of anyone else's control. This inner strength is not something that is bestowed upon you. It is something you must discover within yourself. It requires resilience, self-compassion, and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths. But once you do, once you realize that you are not defined by the narcissist's opinions of you, you will find the freedom to live a life that is truly yours. A life where you are no longer controlled by their manipulations, where your happiness is no longer dependent on their approval. In the end, it's this inner strength that will carry you through the difficult moments, guiding you toward a future that is not dictated by someone else's desires, but shaped by your own power and authenticity. The road to transformation and self-empowerment is not always a smooth or linear path. It is, instead, a journey that demands patience, resilience, and the courage to face both external challenges and internal obstacles. It is a process that requires the deep, often uncomfortable work of rediscovering who you truly are, separate from the influence of others. For those who have experienced the controlling grasp of a narcissist, this journey is particularly significant. It is the process of reclaiming your autonomy, your identity, and your worth in a world that has often tried to convince you that you are not enough. In the beginning, this transformation feels almost impossible. The narcissist has spent so long shaping your reality that you have come to believe their version of who you are. You have internalized their criticisms, their judgments, and their emotional manipulation. You have been taught to doubt yourself, to second-guess your instincts, and to question your own feelings. The idea of standing on your own, of trusting your voice and your instincts may seem like a distant dream, but it is within you. It has always been there, buried beneath the layers of fear, guilt, and confusion that the narcissist has imposed. The first step on this road is to begin to see yourself again. For so long, you have been living under the shadow of someone else's needs and desires. You have adapted, adjusted, and sacrificed parts of yourself in order to appease them. But to transform, you must reconnect with the person you were before their influence, the person who had dreams, passions, and a sense of purpose that was not shaped by anyone else. This reconnection is not easy. It requires you to peel back the layers of shame and guilt that the narcissist has placed on you and to remember that you are worthy of love and respect, not because of anything you have done to earn it, but because you simply exist. You are enough, just as you are. Once you begin to recognize your worth, the next phase of transformation is to reclaim your voice. The narcissist has worked tirelessly to silence you, to make you feel like your thoughts, feelings, and opinions don't matter. They have invalidated your emotions, twisted your words, and made you feel invisible. But your voice is one of the most powerful tools you have in this journey of empowerment. It may feel foreign at first to express your needs, to set boundaries, or to speak up for yourself, but the more you practice it, the stronger it will become. When you reclaim your voice, you are no longer at the mercy of the narcissist narrative. You begin to speak your truth, to share your needs, and to advocate for your own happiness and well-being. And the more you do this, the more you will realize how much strength you possess. As you regain your voice, you also begin to build resilience. Resilience is the ability to withstand hardship, to face adversity without losing sight of who you are or what you stand for. The narcissist has tried to break you down, to make you feel small, insignificant, and powerless. But resilience is the inner strength that allows you to rise again even after they've knocked you down. It is the refusal to allow their manipulation to define your life. Resilience is cultivated in the moments when you choose yourself over them, when you choose to trust your instincts over their demands, when you choose peace over drama. It's about finding the courage to face difficult situations without losing your sense of self. As you build resilience, you become less affected by the narcissist's attempts to control you, and you develop an unshakable belief that you can overcome anything that comes your way. With this newfound resilience comes the ability to set boundaries, one of the most powerful acts of self-empowerment. Narcissists are notorious for pushing boundaries, for making you feel responsible for their emotions, for constantly taking more than they give. But as you transform, you start to recognize that setting boundaries is not only necessary, it is essential to your well-being. Boundaries are the lines you draw in the sand, the limits you establish to protect your energy, your emotions, and your peace. They are a way of saying, I will not tolerate being treated in ways that diminish me. Setting boundaries may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you have spent so much time accommodating others, but it becomes a powerful act of self-love. The more you practice setting boundaries, the easier it becomes to assert your needs and maintain your autonomy. Transformation also involves forgiveness, not for the narcissist's sake, but for your own. Holding on to resentment and anger only keeps you bound to the past, to the very person who has tried to control and manipulate you. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing their behavior or pretending that they didn't hurt you. It means releasing the emotional hold they have on you. It means letting go of the anger and pain that have kept you tethered to their influence. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself so that you can move forward without being weighed down by their toxicity. Finally, the road to self-empowerment is a continual process of growth and self-discovery. As you move away from the narcissist's grasp, you will begin to uncover parts of yourself that were hidden for so long. You will discover new passions, new dreams, and new ways of being. You will reconnect with your inner strength and find that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. The journey to transformation is not quick, and it is not easy, but it is worth every step. It is the journey toward reclaiming your life, your voice, and your power. And when you finally arrive, you will realize that you were always capable of this transformation. You just had to remember who you truly are. In the end, the journey toward freedom, transformation, and self-empowerment is one of the most courageous paths you can take. It is not about the destination. It is about the process of reclaiming yourself from the grip of manipulation, of rediscovering your voice, your worth, and your purpose. The narcissist may have tried to define you, control you, and diminish your life, but the truth is you are not theirs to control. You are yours. You are powerful beyond measure. And the moment you realize that, everything changes. Your strength, your resilience, and your ability to rise above are within you. It's never about how many times you fall, but about how many times you choose to stand back up. The road may be long and challenging, but every step forward is a victory in itself. And while the narcissist may try to hold on to the illusion of power, the truth is that the power has always been in your hands. When you finally choose to embrace your own worth and live life on your terms, you become unstoppable. You are worthy of love, of respect, of peace, and no one, no matter how manipulative or controlling, can ever take that away from you.